And we are continuing with the Backgammon Strategic Concepts by Francois Tardieu, and another series of very challenging problems with marginally helpful explanations. But they are very, very, very interesting, very good problems. There's everyone in the book is that we're going over now. So 4-3, we're covering the Blitz. So we have a 4-3 to play, and anyone have a suggestion?
Make the 5 point.
I would come out with the back one.
Yeah. Okay. What's the alternative?
Oh wait,
No.
Make the 5 point.
Ray's suggesting the 5 point again. Anyone have any thoughts on any other play?
I mean, if I didn't make the 5, I would hit 6-2.
Yeah.
But I would just make the 5. But I think probably 6-2 is probably, I would guess, next best. But I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's yeah. Yeah. To me, the question is: do you hit or you make the 5 point? And there are good reasons for doing both. Obviously, making the 5 point is always, first of all, it's always strong, and second, it gives you a strong 4-point board with your opponent on the bar. On the other hand, the problem with it is that the drop is not a problem. The drawback is that it gives your opponent the opportunity to make the 2 point and anchor. And one of the kind of rules for blitzing is don't let your opponent anchor. So the question is, which is more important here? You can only do one thing. You can make the strongest point left, or you can put your opponent back on the bar. And the answer is that, just a second, I had someone at my gate. You make the 5 point. And it's not close. Surprisingly to me, not close at all. In fact, it's a blunder to make to hit loose, which is typically not the case. It's often right to hit loose, but in this case, it's a big blunder. Any suggestions why? I'll read Tardieu's explanation in a second. All right, no thoughts. Well, his explanation is keep another game up your sleeve if your blitz isn't powerful enough. So that's kind of, to me, that's kind of cryptic. A lot of his explanations are kind of what does it mean to be powerful enough? This seems pretty powerful in that you've got 13 checkers in zone, although actually these checkers, once you make the 5 point, really aren't in the zone anymore. So not sure what that means, although often a lot of Tardieu's problems structurally the better here making the 5 point does that. You've got a short-term game, but it keeps your opponent from anchoring if you hit down the 2. So just out of curiosity, if we did this, giving him a weaker structure, but more of a blitzing structure, it's still right to make the 5 point, but now it's not a blunder if you hit loose. Maybe going back to his explanation here, your only game plan here is to make just to blitz. Let's do this. It's still making the 5 also close. So his point is, if you make the 5 point, you've got a good game plan either by priming or blitzing. But if you're going to hit loose, all you've got is blitz. Even though it's a strong play, it's the only play Oops. That's the only thing you have. So again, here's it's making the 5-5. Here, that's good. Okay, next one. 5-3. Play. And what's the right play here? And I would admit that I wouldn't have done it.
I think for sure 8 to 5, and then either 13 to 8 or 6 to 1. I think 6 to 1 looks better. But so I guess I would hit twice.
Yeah, certainly 8 to 5. That's almost thematic. You've got to fight for the 5 points. You've got to spare on the 8. You've got to hit. And then, yeah, and as Max said, the question, do you bring it down or do you hit off the ace point? And by putting this problem in the Blitz chapter, it sort of gives away the answer. The answer is the Blitz play, which is to go 6 to 1, put 2 on the bar. But you know, that's sort of unusual because they're the typical things that I would look at to see should I blitz or should I do something different, don't really point to blitz. So I would look at, well, our boards are about the same. So why do I do that? I do, on the other hand, I do have 10 checkers in the zone. So that's enough. If you remember Michi's comment, attacking with 10 is strong, attacking with 8 is weak. So we've got 10, so we're strong to do that. But it's not clear. So the answer is double hit, and it's a blunder not to double hit. And Tardieu's explanation is it says a double shot in your inner board is a deft tactical maneuver that can protect a key point while destabilizing your opponent. What he means by that is if you just hit off the 5 point, your opponent has a lot of return shots, a 5, and then 1-4, 2-4, 3-4, or 3-2. A lot of return shots to hit back off the 5. But if you hit twice, there's only 11 numbers that actually hit the 5 point, and we're not so worried about hitting off the ace point because we really want to make the 5 point here. So that's what he means by that. One thing that he doesn't point out is that if you move this checker here, it doesn't change the answer so much. Is that it's still the double hit, but this becomes a much better play. And you know, the idea is that with this checker out here, that's an extra checker to pick out if your blitz works. And it's an extra blot to clean up your opponent. Even if he hits you coming in, it makes a big difference. You have return play with either the fly shot or some shot down the road. Okay. Next play. 5-1 to play.
Oh, definitely hit.
Definitely hit. Okay. What's the alternative if you didn't want to hit?
Make the bar point.
Yeah, you can make the bar point. Or you can come out actually too. 24-18. But yeah, you can make a 6 prime or you can hit. Any idea what the right play is here?
I'm with Ray.
Definitely hit.
7 to 1.
7 to 1. Yeah. Yeah. And 7 to 1 is the right play, and any other play is incorrect. It actually is a blunder. And this is true even though a lot of people won't hit loose because you don't have a direct cover. But here you have we'll have 2 on the bar. It is interesting to note that this is not the DMP play. DMP play, you change it to two-way, is actually to run out and then to hit and then to make the prime. So those are the order of priority for DMP. But to the Blitz play. Now, what if we didn't have that checker in the bar? What if there's only one in the bar? What do you think then? He doesn't cover that. Does that change anything?
I think it does.
Yeah, and
I would make the bar point now.
now you go. Now you want to go for the prime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea is if you hit here, if you hit loose, he only needs to come with the one, and then black can play again. Whereas if you hit him with put two on the bar, he needs to double once. He needs to come in twice, and that gives you a lot more flexibility to come in.
Yeah.
So here, now it's reversed. It's the prime is the right move, and anything else is a blunder.
Well, not only does he need 2 ones if he's on the bar, but you do not want him to anchor because then he's in it till the end and he can win just by a whole
With an ace-point game, yeah.
8-point game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. An interesting position. There's the adage, you attack one checker and prime 2 checkers, and here you're doing that. You're doing the opposite. You're priming a single checker. Okay. So, but back to the original position. We'll give you Tardieu's explanation. Oops. His explanation is making a 6 prime is not the priority when blitzing. The chances to close out your board justifies taking a few risks. Okay, so what's missing there is first of all, he assumes that you're blitzing here and doesn't address prime. So that sort of begs the question of why are you blitzing here and not in the other position, which he doesn't talk about. And so in terms of, he says it's worthwhile to take a few risks. And so again, why take the risk in one situation is not the other? I'm not sure why. He doesn't, the explanation isn't really there.
Gary, it just seems that the one thing I'm curious that has not been talked about yet is that you want to keep him from anchoring up. So you want to play 7-1 just to prevent him from anchoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true. Well, I think that Joe mentioned that is that if he does anchor from here, he's got the ace-point anchor.
That's what
Is
I
that
mean.
what- maybe I meant-
You want to hit on the 1 point to keep the ace-point anchor from occurring.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, that would be my primary reason to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be mentioned for some reason.
Yeah. Well, and then with if he doesn't have this, he can't anchor there, and maybe that's part of the explanation. On the other hand, if you put him on the bar, your gammas have got to be much better. And they are, but it's 39 to 27. But
Oh,
the wins are
I
much
thought he had
lower.
a checker on the bar. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I thought he had a checker on the bar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does. Well, this is the alternative. My question is why are we not hitting loose here?
Because
and
he
making
can't
prime
anchor.
here?
We don't have to worry about him anchoring when he only has 1 checker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's and that's true. And maybe that's the answer. But often it's right to attack the single checker. Whatever we do, if we put him on the bar, we have much higher gammon chances. So, but the wins go down. Okay. Let's go on. And again, just a reminder, the DMP play is the prime. And actually it's not the prime, it's running out, which is odd here. So we do DMP running out and running out hitting and funny, the win chances changed once the score changed, but it's running out, which is kind of odd. Since I would not think of doing that under really any circumstances. But it is the right DMP play. Okay, next one.
Oh, that was the one read prime.
Or 2.
13, 7, 13, 7. Okay.
Another another position where there are a couple of good choices. Strong, well, is it good? Strong moves to make. I think 2 of them are stronger than any of the others. So what do we do? Well, obviously we can hit 13 to 7, putting 2 on the bar. We can also make the 4-point. What do we think?
I mean, making the 4-point goes along with the backup game plan, right, that you were just talking about, that he wrote about, in favor of that one, right?
Always on the bar.
Yes, we saw earlier on. You making the 5-point was better than hitting loose. In this case, we would hit to put a second checker on the bar. We're not worried about so much about anchoring, although he could anchor theoretically through also to anchor, but it's less likely. But yeah, it's once again we're looking at is the long-term positional strength of the position, does that outweigh sort of the shorter term advantage of having the second checker on the bar? Obviously 2 on the bar is really strong, particularly when we have a strong 3-point board. All right, so the answer is again to make the
Okay, made the point.
4-point.
4-point.
Make the stronger positional board.
4-point.
So and his explanation here is it's a similar explanation, different wording. Launching yourself into a blitz is a one-way game plan. If you can make a more positional play, you'll have greater winning chances.
What was his reason?
It's more flexible.
Yeah, it's more flexible.
More flexible.
But the thing is too, there are also more gammons here.
I don't know.
Well, XG says there are more gammons here. XG.
Yeah, there's a rule of thumb that says if you have 2 plays, make the more difficult one first. And I think this is you have 2 perfect numbers to make it. That's more difficult, and then it's easier to hit off the 7 later.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Except
The
that
village idiot would like to weigh in. And the way I look at this is I really think I would have quickly made the loose hit on 7, strip blotting on 13. Why? Because you have 4, 6, 8, 12 checkers now in the zone to carry out the blitz, and that looks. You've already queued, so why not go for the super blitz?
Yeah. Well, that is the question, and
So I said,
I mean, I guess even if you don't hit it now, probably like a large majority of the time you hit that other checker either on the next roll or the one after that, it's going to be hard for black to safety that right before we get to hit it. I guess it's an argument, but yeah, I don't know. I probably would have done it without thinking too hard. Also, just hit the other checker if it wasn't in this book.
Well, again, the village idiot says, look, if you make the point and now you have a 4-point board, I mean, there's 20 numbers that enter and likely that checker, which is on the 18, can move. So, it's the time to attack, I think, is now.
Does this mean we lost Gary? I think looks like we did.
Hmm. Hello.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. I'm having internet trouble, so there's someone actually here trying to work on it. So hopefully that won't happen again, but can't guarantee it.
There you go.
So
Welcome.
anyway, yeah, I guess the take-home lesson of this play and the earlier one is you make the long-term strategic play.
Oh, hello.
I think we lost him again.
Hmm. Well, there was a lot of static since the beginning.
I had an echo. I thought he was in a cave.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, hey, hey.
Gary, you're back now, I take it.
We won.
Aaron, you got to play your second round? people up, no fun. Aaron, did you play your second round? I guess my mic is not working or what?
No, I hear you, Jacob.
Yeah, maybe she's not listening.
Maybe, yeah.
That happens usually, not first time.
Gary, are you muted? Are you talking?
Yes,
Or
I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like I got muted somehow when I switched.
Oh, sorry if
screen.
we were talking over you. Yeah, we couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, I
Welcome
was
back.
wondering what was going on. Okay. All right, so we got 3 plays that look feasible to me here. Obviously, we can make the 5-point. We can cover the 2. We can bring one down and go 2-1. I don't see any other reasonable plays. What do you think is right here?
I think the 5-point, we don't have much to do after it recovered the 2. How are we going to make the 5?
I agree.
Yeah, the 5 points, the 5 points.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then if the lesson from a couple of these problems before is make the long-term point, strategic point, positional play, and that gives you more flexibility to down the road. So, and the answer here is again making the 5-point. Anything else is a blunder.
It also gives you good 6s if the blots miss to make the let's see, hit the second checker. Or, sorry, I'm confused. So now you have 6s to cover. Next roll,
Yeah,
if it's not
6.
hit.
Yeah, 6 to cover. Well, you had these 6s that you can come down or you can come out. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but you'd
obviously,
rather cover.
if you roll a 6 and you hit down, we'd rather cover here. Yeah, that'll give you a 5-point board with one on the bar and one in. So the explanation here is going to be, it says during a blitz, always consider a switching play when you roll double. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer. That's the next problem. When choosing between 2 plays that make the same number of points, choose the one that builds a prime and gives you a long-term positional advantage. Yeah. I just wondered, if we part of it. Oops. Part of this is okay. So now there's a 4-point board. How does that change the answer? It doesn't change the answer. But if you have a 5-point board,
Yeah.
we now change the answer.
Mhm.
But it's still right.
Well, still,
But
it's
not by still right to make that 5-point. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I get it. So it seems to me like the theme of this session is make the long-term play. It gives you more flexibility, and you're going to take some risks that he might anchor, or in this case, a risk that he might hit you, just for the strength of it. All right, last one.
Okay.
Pull it out. All right, double 4 to play.
Ooh.
Hi, it's Karen.
Okay.
Is this
Yeah.
the one you just read the answer for?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the idiot likes switching.
Yeah.
hmm
So yeah. you
No,
got
wait, the idiot hates switching because he read the theme. Maybe he hit the 2-point though.
You could hit the 2 point
Yeah, I'd
from the 10.
hit the 2-point.
Yeah.
It's a
And
2-point and the
then-
1-point.
And the 1-point.
Well, Stuart's saying go 10 to the 2, basically. Get loose off the 2.
Hit loose on the deuce, yeah.
The other play, typically when you roll doubles and it's often right to at least always consider the switching play.
hmm
Here you can switch with 2 points, putting 2 on the bar, actually putting 3 on the bar.
hmm
Um, in this case, so you're giving up. What seems to me that you're giving up your strategic advantage here. You're giving up your 5 and your 6 point. You're doing it for good reason. You're putting 3 on the bar, and it's pretty strong. And you've got 3 builders here to hit or do whatever. But it does seem to go against the theme of the day. And so if you hit twice, you're going to give up your long-term speed advantage. But the alternatives are, 10 to 2 hit loose. You could do 10 to 2, 5 to 1, putting 2 on the bar, and not giving up your 6 point, but you give up the shot on the 2. Any strong thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd pair it. I would hit loose on the deuce, and then I would run the runnable checker in the rear out to 16. Or even, well, yeah, okay, that's it. Never mind. Done.
I'd put 3 in the bar. That seems too strong especially when you've got builders already and more coming in by the time, unless he rolls doubles to help.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is like if black anchors on either of those points, either the 1 or 2, that's like guaranteed like 15 or 20% wins, like right there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anchor on the
priority.
ace of the deuce point is a 15% gain, which is not a great game, but it's better than the game he's got now. Whereas if you put 2 on the bar, that win is ace-point game, and what you're risking is a double 5s or double 6s, which is a couple of rolls, and you can, even if he comes in with 1, you're going to bring more checkers down, so you have plenty of time to pick and pass or do something like that. So anyway, the answer is to double hit. And again, it's not close. Anything else is a blunder. Hitting and switching is the second best play. Coming down with a 3rd checker or from the midpoint is next. But it's not even close. It's a double hit. Put 3 checkers on the bar.
Okay.
It's so anti-thematic. I mean, it's great. 3 checkers up. Yep.
Well, it's anti-thematic from what we've heard tonight, but it's thematic for the chapter called Blitz.
Well, that's true.
Yes. Well, here's his explanation, which I started reading before. During the blitz, always consider a switching play when you roll a double, as it doesn't matter in which order you make your points. So that's kind of the opposite of what he was saying before, which is make the strong point in the right order, and it's more flexible. Here, what he's saying is this is, you're in all-out blitz mode now. So it doesn't matter order you make your points are, and that's a general rule for blitzing. What he doesn't explain very well in the series of things is, well, how do you know when you're in a blitz or when not? You know, when should you keep your flexibility and when you should go for the blitz full on? Yeah, I don't see a clear answer there.
All right,
Yeah.
so the primitive portion of my brain blurted out switch, and then I started thinking about it. One, the theme we just talked about, right, of long-term play, which for me was hitting on the deuce and running to the 15. Yeah, but anyway, so I would effectively, if you do the double switch, you have 3 checkers in the zone with the possibility of bringing down 2 reinforcements against 3 on the bar. So the risk is an anchor. The risk is an anchor on 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's the risk, but you don't have, but you're starting with nothing there. And generally, we're not worried about, let's check back here. Generally, you're not worried about getting the anchor when there's no one there yet. It's hard for black to get the anchor coming in from the bar on the 5 or 6, particularly when we've got a lot of shots at him, from the 8 to 10, even the midpoint. Okay. All right, so that's the last one for the day. Now let me turn off the recording.
Well,